Got it.
Welcome back, mommies. We're almost in July, which feels, I don't know, criminal to me. Today on the show, with my friend Meredith Lynch, we are talking about Alex Cooper is talking about the allegations in a new Vanity Fair piece. Not so new anymore, but she's addressing these allegations. She's at Cannes, and we're going to talk about that. Then Meredith is going to bring me up to speed on Milania Giudice. See, there you go. I need her. I need her to tell me these things because she's the daughter of a real housewife of New Jersey, and she was arrested in May, and she's now talking about it. And I know the internet is very excited, and Meredith has thoughts.
I've been talking about Milania since about 2009, so this is a big moment for me.
2009?
Yeah, I'm an OG
Wasn't
Milania.
she a fetus?
No, she was already born when she was on the show.
Is she younger than me?
Oh, she's 20.
No, I'm 20.
20. Okay.
Okay. And
late birthday.
We're going to talk about, Will Ferrell is the new star of a Skims campaign. And I don't know, I think it's kind of genius. We're going to talk about it. And then later we're joined by Oregon Representative Janelle Bynum. And I'm really excited to talk to her because she's doing all sorts of interesting things. We're going to talk about America 250. We're going to talk about housing. We're going to talk about AI data centers. We're going to get into the whole thing. But let's start with Alex Cooper. Okay. So we haven't discussed her since the Alex Earl drama came out.
Yeah, we never talked about the Vanity Fair piece.
Talked about the Vanity Fair piece. We were all expecting it. We knew it was coming, so it dropped. It was a pretty sweeping story. They talked to 30 to 40 current and former employees. There they are. And basically, it ends up painting a pretty big picture of a toxic workplace, including sexual harassment, and really it's sort of, Alex Cooper has this feminist, and I say this in complicated quotation marks. I want to ask you what you think about her brand of feminism. But they're all very young women who work there. This is their first job in a lot of ways. And it sounds like her husband, Matt Kaplan, is really the one running the show and perhaps not with the healthiest practices. So we're going to talk about that. In the body of the article, their lawyer wrote, it's so cringe. He wrote to them, if you write anything about sexual harassment, I will make it my personal job to bring down Vanity Fair. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweetie.
I know that that Alex Cooper has a certain level of power, and I know that Unwell has a certain level of power, but putting Unwell and Vanity Fair in the same category is wild behavior. You're gonna take down Vanity fucking Fair.
I was just gonna say, the same people that just posted those Orange is the New Black pictures of Susie Wiles. You know what I mean? If Susie Wiles isn't taking down Vanity Fair, I think they're gonna be okay.
Right.
Anyways, the reason we're talking about it this week is a clip came out. Alex Cooper did a sit down or a panel style interview with the Wall Street Journal and finally addressed the Vanity Fair article. Let's play that clip. Let's talk about it on the other side.
Clearly some employees that feel some way. Are these allegations, do you think, a statement more about how this generation of employees' expectations have just changed, or do you think you have the real problem?
I think that we have done a really incredible job at Unwell, and I think if you walk the halls, there are so many people that are so happy to work at this company. I think, unfortunately, being a woman in this industry is extremely difficult because you're held to a complete different standard, whether it's a smear campaign being created for someone's narrative, whatever it be. I think when you read lies about yourself to fuel something else that is an obvious situation going on, it's hard, but I think the reason that I've had success in this industry is I have really thick skin, and I'm gonna keep pushing forward.
All I have to say is reopen the schools, because this is what struck me about that statement, is the fact that she's it's a smear campaign. So I want to talk to people about what is a smear campaign versus what is a well-researched, fact-checked, lawyered, all of the details.
Between 30 and 40 former employees.
That's not a smear campaign.
That is not a smear campaign.
Smear campaigns exist. That's a real thing.
Of
But guess what? If a journalist comes to Vanity Fair and pitches a story, because somebody here has had some really amazing pieces in Vanity Fair, if they came to them and said, hey, I've got this employee, they're very upset about Unwell, here's the story of what happened, Vanity Fair's next question is going to be like, okay, who else do you have?
Yes.
What else? Like, what can you corroborate? What, like, you can't just take one person who fucking hated working at Unwell. It's not a smear campaign. Alex, you need to understand that's not the Vanity Fair article. You might not like it. You might not agree with it. You may wholeheartedly say these allegations are untrue, but it's not a smear campaign, sweetie. And you need to learn what a smear campaign is.
I mean, like, just the fact also, like, that the lawyer went at them in that way, it's like, that's also why these places like Vanity Fair and the New York Times, like, you have to be so thorough because people do sue you. And if they find any, you know, like, I've done, you know, articles before, and it's like, you go line by line and you're like, is this an opinion? And is it a fact, or is it a fact? And if it is a fact, show me where this fact came from with 2 corroborating sources.
Like, will people show you an email?
Sorry,
Will people show you like an email to prove that something happened?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so like 2 things will happen. If a source tells you something and they don't have something to back it up, like an email,
Sure.
like the reporter will go find somebody who can corroborate it. So either they will talk to, so like if one employee is like, again, Matt Kaplan asked me about my sex life. And the reporter might say like, okay, do you have that in writing? Do you have a recording of it? And they say no. They say, okay, was anybody there when it happened? Or is there anybody who has a similar situation?
Story that they could tell.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, yeah, these things are like, they take months. Right? Like that's another thing. It's like I'm very sure that this article,
and so many stories don't end up coming out. Like
for sure.
There will be so many stories that like, even though probably everything is true, Vanity Fair will say like, we just don't have enough, or it's not going to get through legal or whatever.
100%.
So I also think like sometimes when people, and Trump does this a lot, sometimes when people say like, this is a smear campaign. Actually, what's a smear campaign is the way you guys are going after Vanity Fair.
100%.
And also, the other thing that she said in that clip, which we didn't play the whole thing, but she said is like, first of all, don't believe everything you read on the internet. And I just want to back up because Vanity Fair is not the internet.
It's not the internet.
You might find clips of Vanity Fair, or you might read a Vanity Fair article on the internet, but they are not on the internet. And that's the other piece. She's talking like this is a TikTok video.
Right. Exactly.
And that's so she can trick her audience. And here's the bottom line.
Exactly.
This is the, like, you know, toxic workplace, I think, can be a little subjective.
Sure.
And yelling at people is something that some people have no problem with in the workplace. I'm not condoning it. No, there are people who don't care about getting yelled at, who accept it. To me, the big thing in this story is the allegations of sexual harassment.
Yes.
That's where I go full stop. If you are Alex Cooper and you are whatever brand of feminism that she is, which we can talk about that, you cannot have a workplace where your husband, who is in a huge position of power, and you are as well, allegedly sexually harassing employees. And there's very credible evidence. And if you listen to all the interviews that she is doing at Cannes, she never talks about the sexual harassment. And that's like, fuck the Wall Street Journal interviewer, because why didn't you just say there's allegations that your husband is sexually harassing employees? That should have been the question. But here's the other piece. Then she'll go, well, am I responsible for everyone's actions? Yes. When it's your other co-founder, you are responsible.
Yeah. Well, and also like to that end, there's something that deeply bothers me when, listen, I'm going to go after women for a second. I really hate when, and I don't think this just has to be women, but I think this happens a lot with like women's empowerment, where women sort of like hide behind that. They're like, my brand is women's empowerment, and I'm all about like all the ways in which it's really hard to be a woman in the world and this, that, and the other. And like, she uses it as a complete cloak here. Yeah. Where she's like, oh, well, it's very hard to be a woman in the world. And it's like, yeah, but like, you're a boss for a, multi-million-dollar company. What do you mean? Like, this has nothing to do with whether you're a woman or not. Like, I found this to be true. This is I've come to this new place in life, is I think that anybody who has a public image, who builds their public image around like a specific like social idea, body positivity, mental wellness, feminism, like whatever that is, and like it's their image, not like that they're doing legislation, stuff like that, I'm like, that person's toxic. That person is hiding behind a social persona. And I think that Alex Cooper is one of those people who benefits from being like, I'm a woman in media, and then hiding behind the, you know, meanwhile, there's young women being sexually harassed in her midst.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the other day somebody said to me online when I was talking about like the Reese Witherspoon and Mel Robbins and whatever, and they're like, so you're upset about a female-led conversation? I was like, I don't give a fuck if it's female-led. In fact, I'm more upset that it's female-led.
I was gonna say,
that it's not taking. So anyway, but I also think like, here's the deal. Alex Cooper is not the next Oprah.
She took a picture with Oprah at Cannes, I noticed.
Well,
no, I know,
you know,
but
I would take a picture with Oprah
No,
if I could.
Of course, I just am saying I think that was part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm this other thing. I'm not, you know.
But Alex Cooper is not the next Oprah because there is no next Oprah.
That's right.
We're not going to have, you've talked about this before, we're not going to have celebrities like that anymore. So Alex Cooper has a main fan base who she needs to keep happy, and that's who she's trying to keep happy. She doesn't care about the girls of the moment. She doesn't care about sort of a more discerning viewer. Has she lost some people from this article? Absolutely. But she's also gained people. And so that's how it all lands for Alex Cooper.
I also think that I keep seeing her do more and more like executive producing of like romance and reality TV shows, and I feel like she's going to move more and more in that direction as she has a baby. Like I think she's going to keep doing her show, but I think she's probably going to like become more and more executive producer.
Yeah, Anyway, we got other things to talk about.
I want to let you cook. Because I know, like, clearly I know nothing about this, but when Vienna and Meredith and I were talking about stories yesterday, the two of them were like, oh, this has altered my brain chemistry. So tell me what's going on.
I don't know if it's altered my brain chemistry, but it is something that I've thought about. And that is that I've been following her since she was a toddler, climbing into the freezer of the frozen food section. Milania Giudice was arrested for domestic violence, actually, I think back in May. Yeah. And so it's just kind of coming out now. This is like Milania, Milania is a terror. That was what Teresa used to say. Milania was so funny on Real Housewives as a little kid. The things that she would do and say, she just had this quality about her. So I always found her to be really funny. Now, Milania, of course, is no longer a little kid. She's a 20-year-old woman. She's in college, and she was arrested for domestic violence. Now, a lot of details have not come out. All that I think we can confirm right now is that it happened in her house, like in the house that her family lives in, where I hope she still has access to that closet. No, they live in a different house now. Anyway, but
still in New Jersey, though.
Still in New Jersey. Now, they haven't really addressed it too much, but
Who did she get into the...
We don't know.
Okay.
But the like rumors that I've been reading, and I don't know, is that it had to be somebody in the family. Like, and so some people think that it might have been Teresa's husband, who's not her father. Her father is Joe Giudice. He was famously deported after he served time. I believe he lives in the Bahamas now. But anyway, one of the things that I found to be kind of interesting about this is that Milania posted a video last night or a couple nights ago, whatever. And basically she was, you know, I fucked up, you live and you learn. And then she also addressed the fact that there is an AI mugshot of her going around.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I just thought that
Have you seen the AI mugshot?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's her in like orange prison attire,
Yeah.
like which no one would
right.
be in
Yeah.
for their mugshot.
Yeah, right.
And so anyway, and she also said, she was like, that's not my mugshot, but I did serve in my mugshot, but I shouldn't be proud of that. And I guess, like, you know, I've been thinking about it because it kind of goes back to the Alex Cooper thing, where it's like, I hear sometimes when women are, you know, arrested for domestic violence or accused of domestic violence, sometimes there's like a little bit more of a conversation around it. And like, you know, I just think at the end of the day, like, no one should be hitting each other.
No.
Like, that's kind of how I feel. Like, you know, I just feel like no one should be hurting each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, like, she's 20 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think it should ruin her life.
Right.
I think, you know, people mess up.
Yeah.
Who knows what it actually was.
Who knows?
But I'm kind of like, should maybe she come out and give more details?
Like what? How so? Like she should become like a face of.
No, but like, I mean, we don't know who you fought with.
Yeah.
We don't know how much it escalated.
Right.
I mean, it did make you get arrested. The police
Yeah.
go.
And if it's at their home, it's like I don't know. That's why I'm curious. Is like if it was a if it's a domestic violence and people are like out in the street seeing it, that's one thing. But if somebody in the home was like she's so out of control
Right.
that we need help,
Right.
that's bad.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I'm
And
kind
she's
of,
not a big girl.
no. But if you've watched Melania over the years, I don't think this would shock you.
She's scrappy.
She's very scrappy.
Got
Anyway,
I mean, what I was reading, doing my research, it happened just after they'd started filming this next season of Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me that it's like, are they just teasing this out? Like she addressed the rumors. The next season's going to come out. They're going to talk about it on the season. You're going to see it. Like it's the same thing as we were talking about with Taylor Frankie Paul, where it's like,
domestic violence is so dark, though. I think it's too dark for Real Housewives of New Jersey. For Real Housewives of New Jersey,
But they get arrested.
They do, but the kids are sort of a different.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I think that one of the things that I think they've always wanted for their kids is like safety.
Yeah.
And I think like there are these Italian families. They've always been really close. I also think like these girls, Melania, Gia, Adriana.
I just know the one that's like getting up in the morning, gotta.
Oh, well, that song is about Melania because there was actually two songs. There was that song, and then a lot of people who've followed Melania for years will know this song. Melania, first you were 4, now you're 6, or like whatever. The best line in the song is, Melania, your legs look so muscular when you do gymnastics. That's the first track.
I'm gonna sync that to the next time I do a poll video.
Honestly, it's a great song. But I was thinking about the fact that like these young women have been through so much, the 4 daughters of Teresa and Joe.
And on TV.
On TV, both their parents served time.
Oh.
Yeah, Teresa went to prison for a little over a year.
For what?
For tax stuff. Joe went to prison for a couple of years and now he's deported. And so I just was thinking about the fact that like these young women have been through so much.
Yeah.
And it's really hard.
It's also weird. Like in 2026 now, I think this is the first time in our lives that we've really seen reality TV kids grow up. Like it's like the Truman Show. Like I think about, like I remember, I don't know, I feel like, why do I remember this? I remember when Kourtney Kardashian like pulled her kid out of herself on TV. Do you remember this? And it's like now that kid is going to college or like it's college. I don't know if he's going to college, but he's college aged. And you're like, that is a person who's spent literally from his first breath in the public eye for consumption. It's like the Truman Show. And I don't know if we'd only ever had that before with like the royal family.
Yeah, to watch a child from
fully.
Yeah, you're right. Because like even celebrities, I think, can move their kids out of the limelight if they want to. They'll like, honestly, if anything, this just makes me disappointed in my parents. Like, why didn't you profit off my childhood more?
I think about this all the time. I would have made a great Disney Channel star.
Oh, I would have been good on Disney Channel, but I would have been like a
great.
great side character on a reality show. And I think my parents really missed out. Like
I was like songing it. My only problem is I had braces.
Well, everybody had braces at some point. We could have gotten you like behind the mouth braces or something.
Maybe.
Like that's what those kids do. But like, yeah, I mean, I think like our first example of it. But like we have had these child stars, like I would say like the Olsen twins and stuff. Like we kind of were with them with every stage of life.
True.
But they were playing characters on most things that we saw them on, as opposed to like, what's coming out is like the Goslings. The Goslings are about to have that the Colin Gosselin is about to release a book about like his life growing up on camera. And Kate Gosselin, listen, people get mad at me, but like I think Kate Gosselin's a hoot.
I know you do. I know you do. Okay, before we get to our guest, let's quickly transition. Speaking of Kardashians, Will Ferrell is the star of Kim Kardashian's latest Skims campaign. You pointed out to me he's posing as a character from his upcoming Netflix show, The Hawk, where he's playing an aging pro golfer. I think it's genius. You hate it.
Who is this for?
Here's what I think it's for. I was brushing my teeth thinking about this morning. It's like, here's why I think it's genius, or here's why I'm trying to think about the strategy here. Is I'm like, did Kim Kardashian profit off of this from Netflix? Like, did Netflix give Skims money to promote Will Ferrell, or did Skims give money to Will Ferrell and Netflix to get him into the Skims campaign? Do you know what I mean? Like, who was the one who is like getting the profit here, and who's the exchange? Does that?
I'm like, who's the audience?
No, I understand what you're saying. I know, I get what you're saying. I mean, I get a kick out of it.
But you're not going to buy this.
Right, that's true.
Like, I'm just like, okay, so who is Will Ferrell's target audience? It's my husband. It's millennial men who think that they saw Old School their freshman year of college and everything changed for them.
But don't you think that maybe, okay, two things. One, I think there doesn't need to be an audience because so much of what she does is about spectacle and it's just keeping Skims part of everybody's. But two, I think the audience is, I think you are probably too smart for this, but
I was a little too smart for Old School too.
Yeah, well,
that's another
everybody was
episode.
too smart for
No,
Old
don't
School.
tell that to Mike.
Well, but this is what I'm saying is like the woman who knows her husband loved Old School is in Skims buying herself underwear and a bra and is like, oh, this was funny. Let me get my husband these boxers. I think it's the audience is wives, girlfriends of husbands who would find this funny, and you get him these like tighty whities, and you know
what
that's
I say.
I think.
Fine. I don't know how much Will Ferrell engages in political stuff. I feel like he skews liberal.
I mean, I don't know exactly, but I loved his documentary with his best friend who transitioned and they do the road trip.
Yeah, guess what? Never want to hear you fucking talk about liberal policies again. Never. Nope, not allowed. Like, you fucking team up with the Kardashians? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They are in Trump's, they are lightly MAGA, but they are fully in with that world in ways that they don't want to tell you.
For sure.
So I think if you take fucking Skims money,
Yeah.
like, to me, I just don't want to hear about it.
But
Like, you can go
do
ahead and
you
do it.
think-
Just don't talk about it.
Do you know what I'm saying, though? I'm very curious. Do you think that Kim gave Will, I mean, I don't mean this specifically, but do you think that Skims paid Will Ferrell and Netflix for this campaign, or Netflix and Will Ferrell paid Skims for this campaign?
Oh, Skims paid Will Ferrell.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. Skims paid Will Ferrell.
Interesting.
That's a get for them because they're tapping into, like you said, that audience. Like, you're right, that is an audience. But I'm sorry, like, you don't get it to have it both ways. You are now on the Meredith Lynch shit list. Welcome.
Oh my God, I would be terrified if I was on the Meredith Lynch shit list. That is like the scariest place you could possibly be.
Yeah, because you know what? It's sloth, slate, whatever. Like, I come up on, like, you think it's fine, and then boom.
Well, and also, like, this woman will read you for filth in like the most nuanced, specific ways. Like, she will. She's not coming for your looks. She's not coming for the petty stuff. She's coming to tell you about you, Will Ferrell. Go.
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you about somebody else, but
Okay.
I'm going to be nice because we have a wonderful guest.
I know. I'm excited. We've been looking forward to this.
We've been so excited because we've been loving her presence on
I
social
know.
media.
She's such a delight.
She's so good on social media. Today with us is Congresswoman Janelle Bynum. Representative Bynum represents Oregon's 5th congressional district and previously served 8 years in the Oregon House of Representatives, where she chaired the Committee on Small Business and Economic Development. She also, do you know that she has a degree in engineering? So she can do something we both can't do, which is math.
Basic math.
Baby, team math.
Women in STEM.
Actual women in STEM.
Actual women in STEM. And women in Congress. We love to see it.
Rep. Bynum, thank you so much for joining us. We did want to just acknowledge you have a fantastic social media presence.
Okay, I'll tell Abby and Karai. They'd love to hear that.
How do your kids, you have 4 kids.
I do.
Okay, how do they feel about the social media of it all?
You know, some of it's a little cringy for them, but it started because during like COVID, my youngest daughter said I needed a social media like brand manager. And so of course she was supposed to be the manager. And of course she dropped me. And I just started doing like my own TikToks. And I think my first TikTok was like bayangs. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, of course.
Like,
Not the bayang.
The bayang. Yeah, the bayangs.
Of
Yes.
course, the
So,
bayangs.
anyway, so I'm always sending my staff, you know, little things we should do, like Porsche or like not a white refrigerator. Anyway.
Oh my
love
God.
this.
The other day I said to somebody, I was like, they were telling me about when they were going to finish this like class they're taking. And I was like, oh, September, spring, summer. And they were like, what? And I was like, oh, never mind.
Right. Or like my schedule is like, how do they say it? Bus, club, another club. That's my schedule. If you want to know my life in Congress, that's what it is.
I don't think you're cringe. I think I love it.
Well, let me ask you this though, because I think like if you had said to people like 10 years ago, hey, you're going to be communicating so much more with your constituents on social media, people would have been sort of horrified.
On TikTok, no less.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, like, what is the feedback that you get from, members of your constituency when you hear about them getting, hearing about policies through social media? What are they saying?
Well, there's like different types of social media. So there's the ladies on Facebook, and that's like my mom. And then there's, the younger kids on Instagram. And then, some people are on Snap. I'm not on Snap because that's like way too much for me. But there's like different social groups, and you have to tailor the information to the different types of groups. So like I do a what they call direct to camera every Monday when I am at the airport, and people just want to like hear me talk, which is so bizarre. But
it feels authentic. It feels like they're talking directly to you.
You know what though? I am learning to kind of lean into it because there is so much more that I could say. And I'm trying to thread the right needle, but yesterday I caught Mike Johnson. Y'all know who Mike Johnson is,
Tell us everything.
Mike Johnson caught me coming off the elevator, and I think he just wanted to say hi. And I was just like, son, I was 57 hot. Now, first of all, 57 is not a gun. It was supposed to be 38, but I didn't get it right. And I was like, I know you know guns. And he was like, yeah, I do. And 57 is not a gun. So I was like, okay. But the point is, Mr. Speaker, I'm mad at you because you're not helping us make good decisions. Real conversation. I was like, I need you to help us make better decisions. And he was like, I can't control the weather. And I was like, okay, but I'm praying for you, Mr. Speaker. I pray for you every day. And he's like, yeah, pray for your enemies. And I said, no. We're not enemies. We're Americans. We can't be enemies. And he walked out the door with his detail.
Wow. That's
what I mean. Like I could say so much more. And he caught me in a raw moment.
wow. That's so fascinating.
Okay. Since we're on the topic of people who have positions like that, this is in another building probably, but have you seen Mitch McConnell anywhere?
Yeah, where's Mitch McConnell?
No. See, they don't come over here.
Yeah.
We don't get invited over there. But it brings up the point about like, I'm 51 and I'm young. I've never been anywhere where I'm like the young chick. Pass the baton.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you, speaking of things that are happening in Congress, bipartisan, everybody's enemies, but we're not enemies. We're all Americans.
We're Americans.
Congress actually just passed a rare bipartisan housing bill that was designed to increase housing supply and lower costs. But President Trump abruptly canceled the signing, saying he wouldn't move forward until Congress passed his Save America Act. I hadn't heard him pull like an old favorite out in a while. Then you went and called that a betrayal to the American people. So I want to let you cook, tell us why that was a betrayal, and then I want to ask you about like why he keeps pulling out the Save Act.
Well, okay, first of all, that's how you know you're getting it right, when he's like, whoa, that's a little too much, right? And I mean, just like immigration a few years ago, Congress had gotten together, like boom, 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 got a deal, boom. And he wasn't even president. And these people pulled the rug out from under everybody. We wouldn't even be in half of the trouble we're in now if we had comprehensive immigration. So, it just got too good for him. And some people that I've learned in this job, some people are just self-saboteurs. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Like they can't stand it when things are not chaotic. And, I am not obsessed with the president. I generally don't even talk about him unless I know he's watching, and he might be watching now. So, hey.
He's a huge The Moment watcher. He's obsessed with this show.
So even in that, that press conference where I was talking about housing, I was like, I know you're watching because that's what you do. But the deal is, like, for me and for my kids, I want better for them. I want our kids to be able to live down the street by their choice and not have to live downstairs. Like the number of kids that are still on the family plan, that still have to live at home, want to get married, want to move out, like they can't do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really, really good point. And I guess like my thought is this Save America Act. Let's go back to that for a second, right?
Yeah.
Because this is this the voter ID
Yes.
situation? And so do we think that this is going to continue to be something that Trump just hangs over us whenever we can find agreement on something?
So this is the thing, when you're trying to do evil, right? And you get so caught up in the evil that you don't even realize you're hurting yourself. So they want everybody to have IDs, but you have to pay for those IDs. And many people, especially in rural America, don't have that kind of money. Like, what's a passport? $100-something, $120? And then he can't even tell the difference between a passport and a visa, but that's another story. So, you know, when you're trying to be petty and when you're trying to be evil, sometimes you hurt yourself. And I think that's where he's falling short. This is supposed to help root out voter fraud, which we know in this country. Yeah, there are some bad guys. There are people who break the law, but the numbers are so small that it is dust.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause more people to think twice about voting, which maybe is their goal, than it will to create an America where everybody feels that when they go to the polls, their vote is worth counting.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he just wants to cause chaos ahead so he can, perhaps manipulate. I'm
I
curious.
have a question
Oh,
though.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. He does not seem well. I watched him the other day. He's talking about lawn care a lot. I mean,
Y'all are spending time on a guy. He's our president. But what we really need to be talking about is how we make sure young people are activated and that their concerns are being brought to the forefront. Young people are not getting a good deal. My daughter is 24, comes to my house every weekend, shops my pantry, toilet, paper towels. She doesn't do her laundry, thank goodness. But she's very aware of the economics right now. That's what we should be talking about. Like the obsession with Trump, not on my watch. I think we should be pushing people like Johnson. People, I met one of my former state senators in the airport yesterday, and he's like, "Well, you're a good Democrat." I'm like, I am an outcome-based lawmaker. I don't care about anything else. Like, did you pass the bill? Are people's lives better? Are our kids able to look forward to something? If we're not doing that, we're just talking smack.
Can I ask? I'm curious because Thomas Massey got voted out of his district because he's gone against Trump. We're starting to see, I think Trump recently called out Senator Lisa Murkowski. Like, we're starting to see these visions. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm wondering, are you starting to see that in Congress where more Republicans are coming to the table and moving away from the sort of like Trump or bust? I don't want to use the word cult.
I think there's 40 districts out of the 435 in the country that are swing seats. I'm in one of them. And those people have to go home. Like, I have 28% Democrats, 30 Democrats, 28 Republicans, and the rest are unaffiliated or third party. So I don't have a majority of anybody that is in a particular party. And so you still have to be able to answer to them. And when they tell you that they vote, like, you believe them. And so I think that's what's happening in some of these districts. These people have to go home and they know they're in trouble.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of going home, I think this leads us really well into some of the work that you're doing around rural hospitals. It's basically the 1-year anniversary of the Big Beautiful Bill, which I didn't celebrate 4th of July last year. I spent it locked in on my computer trying to get people.
Can confirm.
I was obsessed with getting people to contact Congress to talk about the Big Beautiful Bill because I thought that was the issue that every single person should be screaming about from the rooftops. And I'm curious, first of all, you have this bill to help rural hospitals, but also what are the actual effects that you are now seeing a year later because of the Big Beautiful Bill?
So there are hospitals that know that their population is aging and they can't expand the number of beds. So when your mom or grandma, they always fall, they got to have a hip replacement, they are going to have to wait there's nowhere for them to recover. There's nowhere for them to get the surgery. There's nowhere for them to recover. That's a real thing. Or if you are a mom that has a baby that's maybe a preemie, like those hospital beds are coming at a premium now. So when you start to bankrupt the hospitals and bankrupt the doctors and bankrupt the whole system, because A, you won't pay fair rates, and B, you try to reduce the number of people who have insurance, you create a system that is only built for the ultra wealthy, and everybody doesn't get the care they need. Like that's as basic as it is. And I am not trying to drive 3 hours to get my mom her new hip. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the big beautiful bill was happening, the thing that the Republicans came back and would say is like, well, this is going to get rid of fraud and
It's always the
and it's
fraud.
going to
It's
get rid
always
of a
the
lot of
fraud.
wasteful spending.
It's
So
always
here
the
we are
spending.
a year later. I'm curious, like, if I talked to one of the members across the aisle right now and said to them, okay, give me some of the deliverables that you've had over the last year. What kind of talking points do you think that they would give me?
They wouldn't have any. Okay, so I had a conversation last week with Silicon Valley. And what I told them was, I need you all to help us solve the problems of the world. And one of the problems is healthcare. Like, help us untangle and stop the fights between the hospitals, the pharmacy benefit providers, the big drug companies, the Medicare providers. I don't know the difference between Medicare A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I know they advertise on TV all day if I stay home with my mom, and so all of these things are coming into the American living room, but nobody's solving them. And that one big beautiful bill, I call it the trash bill, it didn't solve anything. There are no talking points except we got to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all you got, sir? Again, outcome-based lawmaker. If you don't have any outcomes, you're just talking.
I feel like that's a good, the waste, fraud, abuse. We saw at the beginning, Doge came in, there were all these, like, that was such a huge part of it. And now we're seeing, like, the reflecting pool. They're spending more and more money.
You're spending more.
Right. So I'm curious what you think. Like, we're going into this America 250, and it's like making me all sorts of uneasy. I'm curious what you think just generally about going to this America 250 and how we're spending money and just like how you're going into this weekend looking at America.
So number one, I always think about, okay, what are we passing down to our kids? We're passing down debt. I support the president trying to make sure our national monuments are beautiful. I am very much an American. I like beautiful things. And so what I'm always encouraging people to do, especially now, because it is so crazy, is like finding these moments of joy. So here's my thing for America 250. I'm a state fair girly. And I love Tablescapes. So I am entering, I hope this doesn't like make me lose, but I am entering the Oregon State Fair in the tablescaping competition.
I love it. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Oh, I will be trolling your social media to see this. I'm so excited.
So I'm in the adult and youth division. So my daughter, the original social media manager, and I were going through, the elements of the table last night, actually, or yesterday. And I'm just telling people, like, find the places where you can find joy right now. Don't let what's happening in this crazy world steal your moments. And there's two things. It's time affluence, like thinking about your time as something that is wealth to you. And then anticipatory joy, like do things that you can look forward to that make you feel good, because the craziness in DC is enough to drive anybody bonkers. But, we still have to live, and we shouldn't allow these people to take away our joy.
Amen.
Such a good point, because like this is this one moment in time of the 250 years of the United States, which like is a complicated 250 years.
It is.
But like I'm also thinking about like my grandparents who sacrificed who were, poor Irish Catholics who went to World War II, and like all of the things that they sacrificed, like for them to realize like I would have certain feelings about this country would make them so sad.
Totally.
So how can I celebrate this country and all of the things that people have sacrificed to make it what it is?
Well, as a Black woman, my ancestors paid a very dear price for this country. But there's also something about the Black experience, the African American experience, that makes us very resilient. And we've continued to push on despite, a lot of bad things happening. And we still continue to like immerse ourselves in joy. It is inexplicable. It is absolute, because, I have a district that's 0.9% Black. Let me just say that. And when I tell them that this too shall pass, like, people are like, really? Like, this is the worst ever. And I'm like, no, Black people have been through some stuff, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of know how this system works. Like, it surges forward, then it goes back a little. It surges forward, then it goes back. And so are you going to sit there and let somebody dictate your joy, dictate your time? No, that's the America I want, is to be able to say, like, this is how I want to live. And other people around the world don't get to say that quite like Americans do.
Mm-hmm. Well, before you leave, I do have to ask, what is the secret to a good tablescape?
Oh. Well, I start off with the invitation, and then I move to the tablecloth. And this is going to blow your mind. I use ChatGPT. And so, telling you, okay. So I did a Bridgerton luncheon, and I said, write this invitation in the voice of Lady Whistledown.
Sure.
And so I sent that to my friends, and then they were like, oh, yes. And then I did a 4-panel menu, and it had, I did all of the language for, like, this is an afternoon of delight for only the social and savvy, or whatever. And so everything on the menu had a Lady Whistledown style description, down to like the drinks, the little finger sandwiches. And then at the end, it was a tribute to our mothers. It was around Mother's Day. And then I had a program. And so it's about anticipatory joy. That's part of the tablescape. And then the tablecloth. And then you just kind of build from there. And everything is very detailed, very specific. And it's supposed to create more than just the feeling of breaking bread together. It's supposed to create a very strong memory. So I always do a place card.
So I guess what you're saying is it's outcomes based.
It is very outcomes based.
I covet an invitation.
Right?
I truly.
Well, maybe the next one we could go to field trip to Oregon.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get on the invite list, or we'll just party crash.
Would be the honor of a lifetime.
Rep Bynum, we're so grateful for your time. We hope you have a great 250 4th of July weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out.
All right. Same to you, ladies. Take care.
Bye.
Wow. She's a delight.
I know. And like also too, I think like a really important voice in this time.
Yeah.
Because like the idea of being outcomes based, I actually think that's something that Thomas Massey would say.
100%. I also, just the way she was describing her district, like it's interesting because, like I'm like, Oregon, where the libs live.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm accountable. I think that's a much more interesting district than like where I grew up, where it's like everybody is liberal except for like the few closet conservatives. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it makes it, she has to do more like nuanced thought.
Do you think people are happier in a district? Not like happier, like I'm not doing like a fucking happiness index, but like, do you think that perhaps what actual like happiness, cohesion, community looks like is growing up in an area that's sort of like 50-50?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, I don't.
Not in the polarization of 2026.
I was gonna say.
It's a different moment, but
it's now it's like 50-50 is complicated, but like, I remember being in high school. I remember this so specifically, and there was a girl that I danced with, and she was like, for whatever reason, her family was like very Republican, and she was like very Republican. I remembered like during the John Kerry race, her like we would like needle one another because like I was like
this one over here.
I was a lib. I was a lib. I've always been a lib. I know.
I was needling people about who had the half-empty Smirnoff Ice. That's what I was needling people about. You're like fucking doing.
I don't know. I was like a John Kerry person, but it was very anti. I remember I got detention for refusing to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance during the Iraq
Jesus
War.
Fucking Christ. Jesus. This is what's gonna withdraw the U.S. troops. This one over here, like fucking. No, not Rebecca Sananès.
She's standing with you. Have to stand for the pledge. I remember I got into a big fight with my French
teacher.
teacher.
I'd be over here like double barrel
say,
salute.
can you see?
You could have enlisted me.
Anyways, I do remember this. And like now, you would never.
No, you
be
can't
able,
even have those.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there was nothing. We were not angry at one another. We did not fight. We didn't think we were on, and like it was just like she cared about politics and I cared about politics, and we were on different ends of it. And she would make fun of me and I would make fun of her, and then we would go compete in dance competitions. And
Well,
that
I
would be
remember
that.
my mother voting for John McCain in, I guess it would have been 2000.
Mm-hmm. No, John McCain in 2000.
Yeah, because John McCain
Like
obviously.
just in the primaries.
Yeah, because he ran famously in 2008.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Mom was long gone by then.
That's right.
But 2000 primaries, my father, I think, voted for Al Gore.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And my mother voted for John McCain. This was the primaries. It wasn't the.
My dad voted for Ralph Nader, and my mom, they were divorced, was so angry about it.
Well, and it's just interesting because actually I remember all of my relatives sitting around talking about who they voted for. Some of them voted for McCain. Some of them had voted for Gore.
Yeah.
Nobody. But like now,
Yeah.
first of all those people would say that they voted
for
not for, but also too, there was no, there was no tension
was
the
no
way it is
tension,
now.
yeah.
And I just wish that like, I also feel like the problem for Gen Z is they're not even seeing adults engage in those
Oh, they can't. Yeah.
conversations.
No, I remember, and then we'll get to our moments, but I did an article many years ago where I found a study that said the biggest indicator if you become a lifelong voter is what happens in your first election. And so if you pick a candidate who you vote for, who wins, and then does a decent job, that is the biggest indicator of anything that you will continue to vote throughout your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And my first election was Barack Obama. He won. He did a pretty good job. And I think I was always going to be like a political person because I'm annoying.
She
but
wasn't. She's in fucking. Je suis la jeune fille. I'm not standing.
I'm not standing. You can't make me. But I agree. I worry with this next generation that it's all so depressing. It's all so bad. There's so few people that get that feeling that I'm like, I don't know, it might just be a generation of people that are like.
You have to take your kids to the ballot box. That's because my first election was Kerry. And he obviously didn't win. That's who I voted for. But I think you have to take your kids to the ballot box and show them why this matters.
One of my earliest memories was with my mom at the school where
Waiting
we
in
vote,
line,
waiting
yeah.
in line. And I remember this so vividly. This was H.W. Clinton.
Yeah.
And I must have been literally 3. And the guy behind us was like, who are you voting for? And I was like, Bill Clinton. And he was like, no, Bush. And I have this memory.
Report him to the voter fraud. This one's probably over here report this man.
No, but I remember it so vividly, and I remember it was we were joking about, and my mom was like, no, but imagine now a grown man asking a little girl who her family was there to vote for. It's like somebody would pull out a fucking pistol.
Well, that would also be something that's not allowed.
Well, not in Texas. What's having a moment for you?
Oh, you know what's having a moment for me? I know this is the last time I'm going to plug it, but we have our Love Island show on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, July 1st at Westside Comedy in Santa Monica. And
I'm so excited.
I can't give first of all, Rebecca's going to be there, and I can't say what's happening just yet, but there's something happening that
Huge.
actually is so big. I'm
Huge.
not just saying it.
No,
And
it's
it
huge.
really has changed over the last 24 hours
It's
what's
freaking me out.
happening with the show. And it's going to be really fun. And I think if you are on the fence about coming and then you don't come, you're going to be pissed that you're
Yeah.
missing what's about to happen at the show.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
going to be, it will be talked about in my obituary.
I was not going to get a spray tan for this event, and now I very much am going to get a spray tan for this event.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
So anyway, that's what's having a moment for me, you guys. Tickets are linked in my bio. Please come out. It's really fun to see you guys.
Yeah.
What's having a moment for you?
I started the new Larry David series.
Oh, nice.
What's it called? I think Life Larry and the Pursuit of Unhappiness.
Yeah.
And it's Larry David clap. It's so funny.
Is it good?
He does a lot of repeat jokes. If you're a Larry fan, you're I know these jokes.
Yeah.
But they're so they never get old for me. Yeah. It's so funny. It's I don't know. I love it so much. It's only 30 minutes, and I thought that it was going to be a full drop, and I was going to just sit there and watch it. But it's it's going to be rewatchable. It's laugh out loud funny. I love Larry David. So you have to like love that sense of
No,
humor.
I love Larry
I know
David.
you
I think
do.
he's
know you
so
do.
funny.
Yeah.
I think I'm a, that's our kind of.
I know, it's
we
a-
have very sometimes like I'll send her like something really niche, and I'll be like, I just knew you would like this, and she'll just be like, of course,
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, what's that on?
HBO. So he teamed up with the Obamas,
Yeah.
and they're producing it.
Before he hosted a fundraiser for Spencer Pratt, or
I mean that part. But it's like these moments in history. Like there's one in World War I where a soldier shows him a picture of his wife and is like, "Take this to my Daisy," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And like the whole skit is about him like avoiding.
she's not that.
Yeah, he's like
So
He's
Larry.
like, "You don't think she's beautiful?" And he was like, "Listen, I would go to the movies with her if she paid for it." Anyways, it's delightful.
Sounds great. I can't wait to see it. Also, like World War II. Shout out to my friend EA Hanks. World War II gets a lot of play. World War I does not get a lot of
Not
play.
a lot of play.
Literally, she
Trench
was
warfare.
sending me a comment about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think World War I is so fascinating.
It's super fascinating.
Right?
Well, I think arguably, and on our next hour, World War I and World War II are actually the same war. It just like had some period between it.
You know what? We should have EA come on and talk to us about why World War I needs to be talked about more.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Double barrel salute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Get us out of
Okay,
here.
Yeah.
What's
So